Brian, can you let me know if you can hear me? Because the microphone wasn't working right. Let me know when you're on. Can you hear anything? Nice.
Go.
Loud and clear. Well, I'm guessing since Matt is in the chat, he's not coming in. Chad, what's going on? Matt, I have 10 left unless you have something different. Wrapping Christmas gifts, living the dream. Should send you mine too, Chad. 8:45 is the cutoff. All right, down to 10 teams. Cardinals, Falcons, Panthers, Lions, Chargers, Rams, Raiders, Vikings, Saints, and Giants. All available. What is so funny? Brian's got the jokes tonight. Well, usually. How do you say his name? A-Chain?
Shane.
They changed his name on ESPN already.
Yeah, everyone says it different.
Is it a Shane, right?
I don't know, but I know there's going to be a bunch of them. Every time I say it,
I
Brian
heard
corrects me.
A-Chan the other day.
A-Chan.
I was like, why is there a Chan?
A full case of Origins Blasters, 3 Donruss Hobby. PYT.
Is there a case at guaranteed for those or no?
2. 2 on average.
For case of blasters.
Like Jackie Chan. Brendan, you want to open the case since there's 10 people in here? What's going on, everyone? 10 teams left. Full case Origins Blasters, 3 Donruss Hobby tonight. Getting started at 8:45. Yeah, that's fine. Nope, Andrew, he was not lying. Terrell said Brendan was coming in. Brendan is here. He came in and he said, I have a surprise for you. I was like, what are you talking about? And then, like, an hour went by and he goes, oh, yeah, I'm not going to be here tonight.
After he was an hour late.
Those all from different cases, do you know?
I bought them all from the same person. Really, Chad? Here, we'll do this. That better? We're just here to please. Brian, I think there's a comment in there for you. I don't know if you're on Twitch or not. Chad, you mentioned the off center, but not the one box that's like the wrong way. Oh no, there's two. Lions for Jeremy. Lions for Jeremy. So we have 9 teams left. We will be getting started at 8:45. Cardinals, Falcons, Panthers, Chargers, Rams, Raiders, Saints, and Giants are left. I'm indecisive. Raiders or Vikings? Raiders have a quarterback. And more downtown chances. But Vikings have Justin Jefferson signs in Donruss, and they have Jordan Addison for the origins. It's a good point, Matt. When you don't know what to go with, you go with both. I pushed it back a little bit to get the chair through. I don't feel like hulking it.
Oh yeah, I'll grab it. I got you. Yeah, all set, Ellie. Yep. Have a wonderful night.
Go Raiders. I can sell you a JJ when it hits. All the customers have left the building.
I didn't get to swear before the stream.
I know.
I can't swear now because we're streaming.
We are live. Can't get it out.
Gosh darn it.
Go in the bathroom. Let one out. Jim taking the Raiders. Appreciate it, Jim.
Aiden O'Connell incoming. Mr. Palillo. I'm trying to investigate here. I need to know if on Tuesday morning when you came in, was the remote control here on Tuesday morning?
Matt, you're being asked, was the remote here Tuesday morning? Our lead investigators on the case.
Was it just the two teams? Right.
Jim grabbed the Raiders,
Yep.
and then Jeremy grabbed the.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Woo! Was the TV off when you came in Wednesday morning?
It's all gonna point to Terrell. Got 3-minute countdown. 8 teams left.
Are you doing the 3 and then the case? Or...
No, I'll probably just.
enough.
No, Andrew, we haven't found it yet. Brian's
on the case.
Yeah, he's hunting it down.
Lead investigator.
I'm investigating.
I'll probably go. I don't know.
Go 1-4, 1-4. Or 6. Sorry, right? Yeah, that's my math. 1-6, 1-6, 1-6.
Yeah,
Opposite
something
of
like that.
everything he just said.
No power on Tuesday. If anyone's come to the store and bought anything this week and ended up with the remote in your bag, we would love it back. We're stuck watching Duke basketball right now.
All right, so I'm Terrell. It's Tuesday night. I'm high AF. And I got the remote. I shut off the TV.
Did Terrell post any snaps on Tuesday with the remote in his hand? T, check your pockets. Yeah, check the puffy vest.
Shut off the TV. Now I go. Oh man, I remembered I have a water. I'm gonna
1
throw
minute
it away.
warning. 1 minute warning.
Should
Grab your teams.
Should actually go check this. I mean, it's not out of the question to check the guard.
Terrell took it home for his dog for a treat.
Jackson, you bookie?
We are at 8:45. Matt, let me know. All right, guys, we are good to go. There is a lot of base cards with these. If anyone doesn't want their base, let us know, and we'll hold those out. There is a lot of base. Not so much in the Origins, but definitely in the Donruss. We have about 1,300 cards in the rip tonight. So, good luck. Brendan, I'll rip the first one, and then if you want to slice a couple of them.
What happened to Duke basketball?
Oh, man, we lost that, too.
Terrell's
We
at
can
home
give the
messing with
base away to the kids.
Terrell's got the.
Terrell's at home messing with her. I don't think it's your fault, Terrell. I don't know if there's.
We're going to open a couple of these at once.
Good idea.
Do like 5 at a time.
You got 5 at the time, right?
All right. I'll give you this. I'll take the keyboard and the mouse for now. I'll just keep this. All right. Good luck. Micah Parsons for the Cowboys. Dalvin Cook for the Jets. Oh, you want me to print a list?
I mean,
All right, I'll print one.
let's just go back to primitive time.
We can technically.
Tua for the Dolphins. Tyler Scott for the Bears. Jackson Smith and Jigba for the
I want to
Seahawks.
get it right.
And a Tank Dell for the
You're not allowed
Texans.
to put any cards in it. You leave them on the side.
All right, let me print a list real quick. 2 seconds, guys. Just need to print a list
Don't
out.
do anything. Unless I hand it to you back.
Do anything.
I know you didn't do anything. Right.
Shots are being fired over here.
I didn't do that.
The ones that have a price are MP.
Huh?
The ones that have a price are MP. I don't have time to type them all in. There you go.
Thank you.
No problem.
I mean, you didn't have to put in alphabetical order like that.
Oh, I know you're good. Christian McCaffrey for the Niners. Justin Fields for the Bears. We have a Tyler Scott to 299 for the Bears. Dontavion Wicks for the Packers. Marvin Mims for the Broncos. Luke Musgrave for the Packers. Stephon Diggs for the Bills. Najee Harris for the Steelers. Aaron Donald for the Rams. Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. Clayton Tune for the Cardinals. And a Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers. That Dalvin Cook was for the Jets, but in a Vikings uniform. Heads up.
What?
He's in a Vikings uniform, but for the Jets. CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys. Terry McLaurin for the Commanders. Bijan Robinson variation for the Falcons. And Israel for the Jets. CJ Stroud for the Texans. And a JSN for the Seahawks. Kyler Murray for the Cardinals. Chris Carter for for the Vikings.
For the Jets.
Devin Achane out of 299.
H-hand.
Devin Achane out of 299 for the Dolphins. Sean Clifford for the Packers. Jaden Reed for the Packers. And a Kayshon Boutte for the Pats. Is there no way to get any background noise on the TV? Buda Baker for the Cardinals. Will Levis for the Titans. We have a case hit CJ Stroud pedigree for the Texans. CJ Stroud pedigree for the Texans. You want Tank Dell for the Texans. Jordan Addison for the Vikings. And a Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. First blaster.
That's it for the rest of the night, folks. Have a great night.
Congrats, Chad. Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks. Aaron Jones for the Packers. We have another case hit. Joe Burrow.
Jesus Christ.
Right off the bat. Joe Burrow pedigree for the Bengals. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. Jalen Carter for the Eagles. And another Quentin Johnston for the Chargers.
I'm gonna say another case here.
No, not yet. Back-to-back packs on the case hit. Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins. Odell Beckham Jr. for the Ravens. Bijan Robinson variation for the Falcons. Cedric Tillman for the Browns. Tank Dell for the Texans. And JSN for the Seahawks. Jerry Jeudy for the Broncos. Derek Carr for the Saints. Lamar Jackson for the Ravens. Kendre Miller for the Saints. Roshan Johnson for the Bears. And Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. Garrett Wilson for the Jets. Alvin Kamara for the Saints. We have a Tanner McKee /75 for the Eagles. Jordan Addison for the Vikings. Israel for the Jets. And a CJ Stroud for the Texans. John Mechie for the Texans. Treylon Burks for the Titans. Damian Pierce for the Texans. Dalton Kincaid for the Bills. Tank Bigsby for the Jags. And a Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. Josh Downs for the Colts. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. Sean Clifford /99 for the Packers. Hendon Hooker for the Lions. DTR for the Browns. Zay Flowers for the Ravens. Jordan Love for the Packers. Sauce Gardner for the Jets. Jalen Carter variation for the Eagles. Backwards, Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta for the Lions. Stetson Bennett for the Rams. And a Sean Clifford for the Packers. George Pickens for the Steelers. Amari Cooper for the Browns. Clayton Tune /75 for the Cardinals. Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys. Trey Tucker for the Raiders. And Devin Achane for the Dolphins. I don't care what it is. I say his name different every time.
Correct you with a different name.
Every time. Jared Goff for the Lions. Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs.
Pacheco. You're from New Bedford.
Kyle Pitts for the Falcons. Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers. And a Rashee Rice for the Chiefs.
So you Tim, tell me where you're at.
Got a lot of things over there, buddy.
Treylon Burks for the Titans. Dameon Pierce for the Texans. Josh Downs for the Colts. Michael Wilson for the Cardinals. Jake Hayner for the Saints. And an Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. Brian Burns for the Panthers. DeAndre Swift for the Eagles. Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Josh Downs for the Colts. And Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. Devonta Smith for the Eagles. Mac Jones for the Patriots. Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. Deuce Vaughn for the Cowboys. Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. And Bryce Young for the Panthers. Myles Garrett for the Browns. Jamar Chase for the Bengals. We have a Tank Dell /299 for the Texans. Michael Mayer for the Raiders. Tanner McKee for the Eagles. And a Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. Brian Robinson for the Commanders. Jahmyr Gibbs variation for the Lions. Tajay Spears for the Titans. Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks. And a Zach Charbonnet startup also for the Seahawks.
Bags are going to be doozies. That's why Matt stayed home today.
Josh Jacobs for the Raiders. Khalil Herbert for the Bears. We have a Quentin Johnston /49 for the Chargers. Chase Brown for the Bengals. Will Levis for the Titans. And Darius Davis for the Chargers. Curtis Samuel for the Commanders. Shannon Sharp for the Broncos. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. Will Anderson for the Texans. Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. And a Zay Flowers for the Ravens. Nick Bosa for the Niners. Cam Akers for the Rams. Jared Goff for the Lions. Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers. Sam Laporta for the Lions. And a Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs. Kyle Pitts for the Falcons. We have a Kayshon Boutte /299 for the Pats. Stenson Bennett for the Rams. Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys. And Trey Tucker for the Raiders. Shaq Leonard for the Colts. Michael Thomas for the Saints. Deshaun Watson for the Browns. CJ Stroud for the Texans. Sean Clifford for the Packers. And Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Josh Allen for the Bills. Geno Smith for the Seahawks. A.J. Dillon for the Packers. Jaden Reed for the Packers. Kayshon Boutte for the Patriots. Is that his name? And Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. What's his name? Booty or Boutte?
No, but Booty's more fun. You don't have to say the first name. You just say Booty.
Does he even play?
Because the Patriots. Yeah, he's been playing.
Travis Kelce for the Chiefs. Deebo Samuel for the Niners. DTR out of 149 for the Browns. Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. Clayton Tune
Smack.
for the Cardinals. And Tyler Scott for the Bears.
No, I said he's talking all the smack.
Potentially two.
And then what's going to happen?
Philadelphia only plays one more game in the
It won't be one.
Okay, we'll see.
It'll be
Just lost
two.
to Seattle, which is a possible matchup in the playoffs right
DJ Moore for the Bears. Levante David for the Bucks. CJ Stroud for the Texans. Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. And Sean Clifford for the Packers. They're not going to get the home game. Or they're not going to get a bye for sure.
No, we're not getting by.
Thanks, Brian. George Kittle for the Niners. Tyrann Mathieu for the Saints. CJ Stroud variation for the Texans. Jalen Carter for the Eagles. Cedric Tillman for the Browns. And Michael Mayer for the Raiders. DeAndre Hopkins for the Cardinals. Aaron Rodgers for the Jets. Jonathan Mingo to 49 for the Panthers. Tank Dell for the Texans. Jordan Addison for the Vikings. And Israel for the Jets. Brendan, can I get that box cutter? Please. Huh?
You go golfing this Sunday?
What's this? Isn't this Sunday Christmas Eve?
Christmas morning Eve? Are you afraid?
I think we have people coming over.
Christmas morning Eve?
I think on
Christmas
Christmas.
Eve morning? I'll tell you, Terrell, these people just aren't golfers like me and you, man.
Where are you guys playing? Are you playing a par 3 or are you playing full?
Play a square run. There's only like 2 par 4s.
Alright, we're going to skip through the base. We have Michael Wilson for the Cardinals. Adam Thielen on the no-name variation for the Panthers. Tyreek Hill on the Dominators. Fans of the game, Rich Eisen for the Jets. And a Mike Tomczyk for the Bears. Cool.
You never heard of Mike Tomczyk?
Not a big Bears guy.
Me neither. It's like spelled Tomczak.
Michael Mayer for the Raiders. Cooper Kupp for the Rams. We have a Gridiron Kings, Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions, and a DeAndre Swift for the Eagles. DJ Turner for the Bengals. A Tyree Wilson for the Raiders. Jerick McKinnon for the Chiefs. And a Stephon Diggs for the Bills. Will Anderson for the Texans. Tyler Lockett for the Seahawks. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. And a Quez Watkins out of 16. 8 out of 16 Quez Watkins for the Eagles.
Wow, that's a big hit.
Huge hit. Pass interference on Monday night. Didn't get called.
I said fun. It's real fun watching you guys. You Eagles fans.
Emmanuel Forbes for the Commanders. Roquan Smith for the Ravens. We have a Justin Fields for the Bears and a Lamar Jackson for the Ravens. Puka Nakua for the Rams. We have a Jackson Smith and Jigba for the Seahawks. Nick Chubb for the Browns and a Damian Pierce for the Texans.
This was a Jacoby Brissett in Cleveland uniform, Washington. We didn't catch that.
I skipped it was base.
No excuses.
We have Stetson Bennett for the Rams. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. And a Fred Jackson for the Seahawks. It said road to the Super Bowl for the Cowboys. I got confused there.
It's a retro card.
Just kidding, Chad. Just kidding.
The retro card.
One of those ones from the 90s. Tyreek Stevenson for the Bears. Rod Smith for the Broncos. Jake Hayner for the Saints. And a Kadarius Toney, Mr. Offsides, for the Chiefs.
You see the Senior Bowl thing I sent? You see that insert? I wonder if it's a chat. You're going to have so many of them.
Yeah, there's
Kadarius Toney running that perfect route in the Senior Bowl, wide open, and drops the ball. Prelude to his future.
Isaiah Foskey for the Saints. Jalen Hurts for the Eagles. Quentin Johnston on the bomb squad for the Chargers. And a TJ Hawkinson for the Vikings. Jack Campbell for the Lions. Saquon Barkley for the Giants. Jaden Reed for the Packers. And a Jalen Hyatt out of 100 for the Giants. Some of these packs are ripping so weird. We have a Keanu Benton for the Steelers. Will Levis for the Titans. We have Devonta Smith for the Eagles and Mike Evans for the Bucks. If anyone is out of power and needs some kindling, go ahead and use that Kadarius Toney card, guys. Some bum.
We're sending you extra Kadarius Toney.
All right, we're loading that pack up with Kadarius Toney. Tyrann Mathieu. I don't know why I just said that. It was base. Got excited. Josh Downs for the Colts. Trey Tucker for the Raiders. Lawrence Taylor for the Giants. And a Justin Shorter for the Bills.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
On your 3-game losing streak. Julius Brents for the Colts. Devontae Adams for the Raiders.
Just slowly getting. We're gonna win the division. We're
Rich
still in the playoffs.
Eisner for the Jets. And LeGarrette Blount for the Pats.
Next is gonna be they're above 500.
Try and
Paris Johnson for the Cardinals. Jaden Reed for the Packers. That is out of $299. Jaden Reed auto for the Packers. J.K. Dobbins for the Ravens. Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins. And A.J. Dillon for the Packers.
Jaden Reed might be the best wide receiver on that team.
Jaden Reed is the best receiver on that team.
I'm just saying, I don't know if people are paying attention.
Trey Tucker for the Raiders. Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. Chris Jones for the Chiefs. And B.J. Ajalari for the Cardinals.
Good pronunciation.
Good pronunciation.
Wow, thanks, Brennan. Brian always just tells me when I say it wrong.
Who tells who's reading these cows? Whether it's you or the other man. You're doing a good job more than me.
Miles Murphy for the Bengals. Dalvin Cook. We have a Tony Pollard out of 52 for the Cowboys. Will Anderson Jr. for the Texans. And a Dalvin Cook for the Jets. Donruss makes some weird numbers. 52, 16. Go Pack Go. Eric Gray for the Giants. We have a Jersey Kings for the Jets. Aaron Rodgers. Out of $399, Aaron Rodgers. Jared Goff for the Lions. Jaron Hall for the Vikings. And Joe Burrow for the Bengals. KJ Henry for the Commanders. Jalen Carter for the Eagles. Jackson Smith-Njigba for the Seahawks. And a Jerry Hughes for the Texans. Aaron who? Didn't he bring you a Super Bowl, Matt? Brendan, did you slice all these? Do you slice all these?
No, just those.
Just rookies. Brian Robinson for the Commanders. Josh Jacobs for the Raiders. Khalil Herbert for the Bears. Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. Tajay Spears for the Titans. Jalen Hyatt for the Giants. Curtis Samuel for the Commanders. Shannon Sharp for the Broncos. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks. Chase Brown for the Bengals. And Booty for the Pats. That was for you, Brian.
They like booty.
Could be anyone on the Pats with that name. Nick Bosa for the Niners. Cam Akers for the Rams. We have a Stetson Bennett to 299 for the Rams. Will Levis for the Titans. Darius Davis for the Chargers. And a Will Anderson for the Texans.
Booty. He didn't play much, dude. But he did.
AJ Terrell for the Falcons. Chris Godwin for the Bucks. Jimmy G for the Raiders. Clayton Tune for the Cardinals. Tyler Scott for the Bears. And DTR for the Browns.
Down the run.
Down to run. Joe Flacco's backup, huh? Devonta Smith for the Eagles. Mac Jones for the Pats. Bryce Young on the variation for the Panthers. JSN for the Seahawks. Dontavion Wicks for the Packers. And Jordan Addison for the Vikings.
Second best wide receiver on that team.
Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. We have a Jaron Hall out of 149 for the Vikings. Marvin Mims for the Broncos. Luke Musgrave for the Packers. And a Deuce Vaughn for the Cowboys. Buda Baker for the Cardinals. Will Levis for the Titans. CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys. Tyree Wilson for the Raiders. Michael Wilson for the Cardinals. And Hendon Hooker for the Lions.
Nobody gives up more hookers than MP Sports. Should be the logo.
Terry McLaurin for the Commanders. Kyler Murray for the Cardinals. Chris Carter for the Vikings. Jake Haener for the Saints. Anthony Richardson for the Colts. And Marvin Mims for the Broncos.
It'll be on my next review. Best place to get hookers. MP Sports.
Stephon Diggs for the Bills. Najee Harris for the Steelers. We have Zay Flowers to 149 for the Ravens. Josh Downs for the Colts. Michael Mayer for the Raiders. And Tanner McKee for the Eagles. Garrett Wilson for the Jets. Alvin Kamara for the Saints. Derrick Henry for the Titans. Tank Bigsby for the Jags. Hendon Hooker for the Lions.
All
And
hookers.
Clayton Tune for the Cardinals. All the hookers.
All the hookers. Ring the bell every time we get hookers.
Jalen Hurts for the Eagles. Kenny Pickett for the Steelers. Will Levis variation for the Titans. DTR for the Browns. Zay Flowers for the Ravens. And a Roshan Johnson for the Bears. Amon-Ra for the Lions. Saquon Barkley for the Giants. We have a Jonathan Mingo to 299 for the Panthers. Jaron Hall for the Vikings. Bryce Young for the Panthers. And Jalen Hyatt for the Giants. CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys. Terry McLaurin for the Commanders. Kyler Murray for the Cardinals. Tyler Scott for the Bears. JSN for the Seahawks. And Hendon Hooker for the Lions. And do your little bell.
I mean, I'm caught up like I'm gonna have to charge everybody for supplies.
Chris Carter for the Vikings. Stephon Diggs for the Bills. Najee Harris for the Steelers. Dontavion Wicks for the Packers. Marvin Mims for the Broncos. And the Marvin Mims startups also for the Broncos. Aaron Donald for the Rams. Micah Parsons for the Cowboys. Tank Bigsby out of 149 for the Jags. Luke Musgrave for the Packers. Deuce Vaughn for the Cowboys. And Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. Mark Andrews for the Ravens. Nick Chubb for the Browns. Desmond Ridder for the Falcons. Cedric Tillman for the Browns. Tank Dell for the Texans. And Hendon Hooker for the Lions. A lot of Hooker. Derrick Henry for the Titans. Jalen Hurts for the Eagles. Kenny Pickett for the Steelers. Israel for the Jets. CJ Stroud for the Texans. And CJ Stroud for the Texans.
A lot of hookers.
Cards packed in Thailand? Is that for all the hookers, chat? Amon-Ra for the Lions. Saquon for the Giants. Will Levis on the variation for the Titans. Sean Clifford for the Packers. Jaden Reed for the Packers. And a Roshan Johnson for the Bears. All the hookers.
Give me all the hookers.
Anyone got the hooker counter going? Buda Baker for the Cardinals. Will Levis for the Titans. We have an Anthony Richardson to 149 for the Colts. Booty for the Pats. Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. And Clayton Tune for the Cardinals.
Hookers and booty.
Hookers and booty. Cooper Kupp for the Rams. Wan'Dale Robinson for the Giants. Jordan Poyer for the Bills. Will Anderson for the Texans. Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. And Zay Flowers for the Ravens. Matt's going to need to put a red light outside of the shop. Justin Herbert for the Chargers. AJ Terrell for the Falcons. Chris Godwin for the Bucks. Jordan Addison for the Vikings. Israel for the Jets. And a Marvin Mims for the Broncos.
Come on, here, double check your work.
Jimmy G for the Raiders. Devonta Smith for the Eagles. We have Tanner McKee to 149 for the Eagles. CJ Stroud for the Texans. Sean Clifford for the Packers. And Jaden Reed for the Packers. Red Light District might not go so well in our backyard. They would love it. The people of Carver have been waiting for that.
What's your taste? Coming off the cranberry bogs after a hot day.
Not much in Carver. So we can add some hookers to, the cranberry bogs and the...
2 smoke shops.
There's 2 smoke shops. Michael Thomas for the Saints.
Right next to each other.
Deshaun Watson for the Browns. Josh Allen for the Bills. Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Josh Downs for the Colts. And CJ Stroud for the Texans.
You open a hookah lounge. Hookah lounge. Play on words.
Chat said goes backyard or back door. Geno Smith for the Seahawks. AJ Dillon for the Packers. Will Levis for the Titans. Michael Mayer for the Raiders. Tanner McKee for the Eagles. And a Roshan Johnson for the Bears.
Slogan be backdoor breaks. We get all opinions.
Hey, might get some traffic. I thought it was backyard. Travis Kelce for the Chiefs.
Traffic you don't want.
Deebo Samuel for the Niners. For the Packers, Jaden Reed to 299. Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. And Jalen Carter for the Eagles.
Massage Watson special.
Devontae Adams for the Raiders. Miles Sanders for the Panthers. DK Metcalf for the Seahawks. Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers. Sam Laporta for the Lions. And Bijan Robinson for the Falcons.
Bijan. Bijan. Okay.
Dijon mustard. Travis Etienne for the Jags. Calvin Ridley for the Jags. For the Browns, DTR out of 149. Stenson Bennett for the Rams. Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys. Trey Tucker for the Raiders. There you go, Chad. There's the rebranding. So that's it. Going to make a backdoor breaks logo now.
That logo's gonna be.
Bryce Young for the Panthers, Russell Wilson for the Broncos, Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins, Deuce Vaughn for the Cowboys, Quentin Johnston for the Chargers, and Bryce Young for the Panthers. Adam Thielen for the Panthers, TJ Hawkinson for the Vikings, Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions, Tajay Spears for the Titans, Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks, and Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks. Chad Johnson for the Bengals, Mike Evans for the Bucks. For the Brownies again, Cedric Tillman to 99. Chase Brown for the Bengals, Will Levis for the Titans, and Darius Davis for the Chargers. All right, we're officially, what, halfway? Chase Brown for the Bengals. Have a redemption. Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers. Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. And a Justin Fields for the Bears. Kendre Miller for the Saints. Jamar Chase for the Bengals. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. And a Cam Smith for the Dolphins. Sam Laporta for the Lions. Mike Allstott for the Bucks, Bijan Robinson for the Falcons, and Adam Thielen out of 70, 43 out of 70 for the Panthers. Devin Witherspoon for the Seahawks. All-Pro Kings for the Ravens, Justin Tucker out of 399 for the Ravens, CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys, Trent McDuffie for the Chiefs, and Justin Herbert for the Chargers. Anton Harrison for the Jags. Michael Wilson for the Cardinals. Nick Chubb for the Browns. And Devonta Smith for the Eagles. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. Geno Smith for the Seahawks. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs, and Dexter Jackson for the Bucks. Zach Harrison for the Falcons. Frank Gore for the Niners. Will Anderson for the Texans, and Hassan Reddick for the Eagles. Cam Smith for the Dolphins. Tank Bigsby for the Jags. Joe Burrow for the Bengals. And Andy Dalton for the Panthers.
Big hit right there.
Red Rocket. Red Rifle. Whatever you want to call it.
Rocket's something different. That's more of a backdoor breaks thing.
That's cool. DTR for the Browns. Desmond Ridder for the Falcons. Jaden Reed for the Packers. And a Zaire Franklin for the Colts. That is 1 out of 50 for the Colts. Zaire Franklin. Israel for the Jets. Deebo Samuel for the Niners. Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys, and Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. Lucas Van Ness for the Packers. Devonta Smith for the Eagles. Lawrence Taylor for the Giants, and a Mitch Trubisky for the Steelers. Yaya Diaby for the Bucks. Javonte Williams for the Broncos, Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins, and Michael Pittman Jr. for the Colts. Yeah. Max Duggan for the Chargers, Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins, Rich Eisen for the Jets, and a Dak Prescott for the Cowboys.
Is there any other fans of the game? Like, that's the only
It's Rich Eisen is the only fan of the game.
Biggest fan.
That is it. Just the one. There's a die cut in the back. I think. Yeah. Deontay Banks for the Giants. A.J. Brown for the Eagles. Jake Hayner for the Saints. And a Hassan Reddick out of 75 for the Eagles. Dontavion Wicks for the Packers. We have an Aqueous Test AJ Terrell for the Falcons. I don't know what that is. Aqueous Test. I think there's one of those. Yeah, it's like the
technically waterproof, or
it's that one. Tyree Wilson for the Raiders. Travis Kelce for the Chiefs, and Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. Non-serial numbered short print. There you go, Falcons. Wait, it can go in water? That's like the thing?
I don't know.
Oh.
I just always say it 'cause
Do
Aqua
not
is like-
listen.
Do not. Says Aqua's
JSN
test, so I
for
just
the
think Aqua.
Seahawks.
Like,
Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks. JSN for the Seahawks. And Zach Harrison for the Falcons. Seahawks pack.
If you put it in water, he'll change teams.
They've done it since the 90s. Not that old, Matt. Nah, I was born in the 90s. Tank Bigsby for the Jags. Puka.
oh, they are sprayed with a water-based.
Little no-name variation Puka for the Rams.
PSA gave it a 9. Too many fingerprints.
Roquan Smith for the Ravens. Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks. And Anthony Munoz for the Bengals. Brendan, you want to slice 5 of those open?
Sure.
Don't put them in water, though.
We got another fun one. Calijay Cansey for the Bucks. Stenson Bennett for the Rams. Trey Tucker for the Raiders. And Robert Brooks for the Packers. All right, guys. For the valued, good luck. 2023 Donruss Elite Series Rookie Auto. Card number 27. Devon A-Chain for the Dolphins. It's whatever.
It's a chance.
A-Chain for the Dolphins. I'm gonna open one. Probably slice those if you want.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp for the Broncos. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. Nick Bosa for the Niners. Luke Musgrave for the Packers. Deuce Vaughn for the Cowboys. And Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. Jim, the pedigree and Big Bang. We had a CJ Stroud pedigree and Joe Burrow. But the pedigree and the Big Bang are the 2 case hits out of Origins. Cam Akers for the Rams. Jared Goff for the Lions. Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs. Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. Tajay Spears for the Titans. And Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. Kyle Pitts for the Falcons. Jordan Love for the Packers. We have a Dolphin A-Chain to 99 for the Dolphins. Charbonnet for the Seahawks. Chase Brown for the Bengals. And Will Levis for the Titans. Mac Jones for the Pats. Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. Booty for the Pats. Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. And Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers. Brian Robinson for the Commanders. Josh Jacobs for the Raiders. Hendon Hooker for the Lions. Clayton Tune for the Cardinals. Tyler Scott for the Bears. And Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Khalil Herbert for the Bears. Curtis Samuel for the Commanders. We have for the Panthers, Bryce Young to 299. For the Panthers, JSN for the Seahawks, Dontavion Wicks for the Packers, and Marvin Mims for the Broncos. Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Juju for the Patriots. Austin Eckler for the Chargers. Hendon Hooker for the Lions. DTR for the Browns. And Clayton Tune for the Cardinals. DJ Moore for the Bears. Levante David for the Bucks. JSN for the Seahawks. Zay Flowers for the Ravens. Jaron Hall for the Vikings. And Josh Downs for the Colts. CJ Stroud for the Texans. George Kittle for the Niners. Luke Musgrave to 299 for the Packers. Bryce Young for the Panthers. Jalen Hyatt for the Giants. And Tyree Wilson for the Raiders. Miles Sanders for the Panthers. DK Metcalf for the Seahawks. Travis Etienne for the Jags. Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys. Trey Tucker for the Raiders. And Jake Hayner for the Saints. Calvin Ridley for the Jags. Mike Williams for the Chargers. Daniel Jones for the Giants. A-Chain for the Dolphins. Kendre Miller for the Saints. And Will Anderson for the Texans. Joe Burrow for the Bengals. Ramondre Stevenson for the Pats. We have Stenson Bennett to 99 for the Rams. Roshan Johnson for the Bears. Dalton Kincaid for the Bills. And Tank Bigsby for the Jags. Kyle Pitts for the Falcons. Jordan Love for the Packers. Sauce Gardner for the Jets. Dalton Kincaid for the Bills. Tank Bigsby for the Jags. And Zay Flowers for the Ravens. George Pickens for the Steelers. Amari Cooper for the Browns. Jerry Jeudy for the Broncos. Hendon Hooker for the Lions. DTR for the Browns. And Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. Derek Carr for the Saints. Lamar Jackson for the Ravens. For the Lions, Sam Laporta to 299. Zay Flowers for the Ravens. Jaron Hall for the Vikings. And Bryce Young for the Panthers. Curtis Samuel for the Commanders. Shannon Sharp for the Broncos. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. Sam Laporta for the Lions. Stenson Bennett for the Rams. And Bryce Young for the Panthers. Nick Bosa for the Niners, Cam Akers for the Rams, Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions, Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys, Trey Tucker for the Raiders, and Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks. Jared Goff for the Lions, Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs, for the Rams, Stetson Bennett to 75. A-Chain for the Dolphins, Kendre Miller for the Saints, and Roshan Johnson for the Bears. DJ Moore for the Bears, Levante David for the Bucks, CJ Stroud for the Texans, Zay Flowers for the Ravens, Jaron Hall for the Vikings, and Jaron Hall for the Vikings. Juju for the Pats, Austin Eckler for the Chargers, Stetson Bennett to 299 for the Rams, Tank Bigsby for the Jags, Hendon Hooker for the Lions, and DTR for the Browns. A lot of Stetson Bennett numbers.
Must be this year's Joe Ball.
George Kittle for the Niners, Tyrann Mathieu for the Saints, DeAndre Hopkins for the Cardinals, Bryce Young for the Panthers, Jalen Hyatt for the Giants, and a Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers for the Jets, Shaq Leonard for the Colts. We have a Seahawk, Zach Charbonnet to 75 for the Seahawks. Tyree Wilson for the Raiders, Michael Wilson for the Cardinals, and Jake Haener for the Saints. Mike Williams for the Chargers, Daniel Jones for the Giants, Joe Burrow for the Bengals, A-Chain for the Dolphins, Kendre Miller for the Saints, and Will Levis for the Titans.
I'm not going to respect the guy and say his name right. I don't know what he's doing.
That's alright. I'll let him tell me. It upsets him. Ramondre Stevenson for the Pats, Anthony Richardson for the Colts, Will Anderson for the Texans, Roshan Johnson for the Bears, Don Kincaid for the Bills, and a Tyree Wilson for the Raiders. Odell Beckham for the Ravens, Garrett Wilson for the Jets, Alvin Kamara for the Saints, Josh Downs for the Colts, Michael Mayer for the Raiders, Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Derrick Henry for the Titans, Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, Kenny Pickett for the Steelers, Tanner McKee for the Eagles, Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions, and Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. Amon-Ra for the Lions, Saquon Barkley for the Giants. We have a Viking, Jaron Hall out of 149 for the Vikings, Bijan Robinson for the Falcons, Jalen Carter for the Eagles, and Cedric Tillman for the Browns. Ryan Burns for the Panthers, DeAndre Swift for the Eagles, Myles Garrett for the Browns, Jaron Hall for the Vikings, Bryce Young for the Panthers, and a Sean Clifford for the Packers. I'm pretty sure Jaron Hall is this year's Kellen Mond.
I mean, there's a race going on, that's for sure.
Interesting. Jamar Chase for the Bengals, Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks, CJ Stroud variation for the Texans, Jalen Hyatt for the Giants, Tyree Wilson for the Raiders, and a Michael Mayer for the Raiders.
Oh, John Mayer.
John Mayer's brother. Aaron Jones for the Packers, Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins. We have a Texan, Will Anderson to 299 for the Texans, Michael Wilson for the Cardinals, Jake Haener for the Saints, and Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Trey Tucker for the Raiders, Daniel Jones for the Giants. We have Leo Chanel for the Chiefs and a Devontae Adams for the Raiders. Miles Murphy for the Bengals, Dante Culpepper for the Vikings, Sam Laporta for the Lions, and a Rashad Bateman out of 190 for the Ravens. Eric Gray for the Giants. Another aqueous test. This one, Justin Fields. Justin Fields on that one.
Just feels different.
We have a CJ Stroud, the rookies for the Texans. Van Jefferson and Austin Eckler. That Fields is in that pile.
Mm-hmm.
KJ Henry for the Commanders, TJ Hawkinson for the Vikings, Tyler Scott for the Bears, and Paris Johnson for the Cardinals. Stenson Bennett for the Rams, Shaq Barrett for the Bucks, Derek Carr for the Saints, Stenson Bennett for the Rams, and Fran Tarkenton for the Vikings. Tyreek Stevenson for the Bears, Jamal Williams for the Saints, Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, and Myles Garrett for the Browns. Charlie Jones for the Bengals, Chase Brown for the Bengals, Jamar Chase for the Bengals, and Justin Brents for the Colts. Jake Haener for the Saints, Kirk Cousins for the Vikings, Jordan Addison for the Vikings, And Dontavion Wicks out of 100 for the Packers.
Yeah, if you guys don't want that base, just let us know.
This card is so thick. We had a Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. Leather Kings. Zay Flowers. Out of 49, 5 out of 49 Zay Flowers on the Leather Kings for the Ravens. Hendon Hooker for the Lions, Josh Jacobs for the Raiders, and a Joey Bosa for the Chargers.
Tonight, I'm like, babe, you're not gonna believe how many hookers there.
There's so many. Derek Hall for the Seahawks, Josh Jacobs for the Raiders, Tank Dell for the Texans. That Tank Dell is numbered out of 100, 53 out of 100. And Isaiah Hodges for the Giants. There's not many Isaiah Hodges. There's not. We have a Justin Brents, Raider rookie for the Colts. We do have an optic preview here. Out of 50, 45 out of 50, Michael Mayer. On the optic preview for the Raiders. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. Jalen Hurts for the Eagles. And John Taylor for the Niners. Paris Johnson for the Cardinals. Jordan Addison for the Vikings. Charlie Joyner for the Chargers. And Jawan Bentley for the Pats. You a buyer on the Bentley, Brian?
I am not.
No? I tried. We got a Lou Nichols III for the Packers. Sauce Gardner for the Jets. Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. And Chris Carter for the Vikings. Zach Evans for the Rams. Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks. Power Plus Kenneth Walker auto out of 99 for the Seahawks. We have a Gibbs for the Lions. Tajay Spears for the Titans. And Lorenzo Carter for the Falcons. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. Aaron Donald for the Rams. Juju Smith-Schuster for the Chiefs. And Carl Lawson for the Jets. Tyree Wilson for the Raiders. Irving Fryer for the Pats. Kendre Miller for the Saints. And Josh Allen out of 500. Short print. 182 out of 500. Josh Allen for the Bills. Cedric Tillman for the Browns. Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys. Tyler Scott for the Bears. And Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs. Jalen Hyatt for the Giants. Drake London for the Falcons. Jaden Reed for the Packers. And Tua for the Dolphins. Dameon Pierce for the Texans. Josh Downs for the Colts. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders. Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers. And Clayton Tune for the Cardinals. Brian Burns for the Panthers. DeAndre Swift for the Eagles. JSN for the Seahawks. Sam Laporta for the Lions. Stenson Bennett for the Rams. And Josh Downs for the Colts. Myles Garrett for the Browns. Jamar Chase for the Bengals. For the Browns, Cedric Tillman /75. Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys. Trey Tucker for the Raiders. And A-Chain for the Dolphins. Jerry Jeudy for the Broncos. Derek Carr for the Saints. Lamar Jackson for the Ravens. Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks. Chase Brown for the Bengals. And Will Anderson for the Texans. John Mechie for the Texans. Treylon Burks for the Titans. We have a Jet Israel out of $2.99 for the Jets. Will Levis for the Titans. Darius Davis for the Chargers. Will Anderson for the Texans. Sauce Gardner for the Jets, George Pickens for the Steelers, Amari Cooper for the Browns, Quentin Johnston for the Chargers, Tajay Spears for the Titans, and Jake Hayner for the Saints. Garrett Wilson for the Jets, Alvin Kamara for the Saints. Third case hit of the case for the Vikings. Justin Jefferson pedigree for the Vikings. Tyree Wilson for the Raiders, Michael Wilson for the Cardinals, and Quentin Johnston for the Chargers.
Are you not going to use the catchphrase tonight?
Sick.
Oh,
Derrick Henry for the Titans, Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, Bijan Robinson for the Falcons, Jake Hayner for the Saints, Anthony Richardson for the Colts, and JSN for the Seahawks. Jim, the last Donruss had a Seahawks auto. Yeah, Kenneth Walker was the auto. Kenny Pickett for the Steelers, Amon-Ra for the Lions. For the Saints, Jake Hayner to 149. Josh Downs for the Colts, Michael Mayer for the Raiders, and Tanner McKee for the Eagles. What else did I have? I had a Michael Mayer optic preview to 50. Brian Burns for the Panthers, DeAndre Swift for the Eagles, Myles Garrett for the Browns, Tank Bigsby for the Jags, Hendon Hooker for the Lions, and Anthony Richardson for the Colts.
Hooker's galore.
Huh?
Hooker's galore.
So many. Jamar Chase for the Bengals, Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks, Aaron Jones for the Packers, DTR for the Browns, Zay Flowers for the Ravens, and Quentin Johnston for the Chargers. Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins, Odell for the Ravens. Is this another one? We have a 1/1 Kendre Miller
Oh,
for the Saints. 1/1 Kendre Miller for the Saints. Saints that no one grabbed. Jaron Hall for the Vikings, Bryce Young for the Panthers, and Jalen Hyatt for the Giants. Ramondre Stevenson for the Pats, Anthony Richardson for the Colts, Juju for the Pats, Bryce Young for the Panthers, Jalen Hyatt for the Giants, and Jake Hayner for the Saints. Just another one, Chad. Just another 101. It's like one a break. Austin Eckler for the Chargers, DJ Moore for the Bears, Levante David for the Bucks, Tyree Wilson for the Raiders, Michael Wilson for the Cardinals, and a Will Anderson for the Texans. CJ Stroud for the Texans, George Kittle for the Niners. For the Bears, Roshan Johnson to 149. Jake Hayner for the Saints. Anthony Richardson for the Colts. And Josh Downs for the Colts. Miles Sanders for the Panthers. DK Metcalf for the Seahawks. Travis Etienne for the Jags, Roshan Johnson for the Bears, Dalton Kincaid for the Bills, and Stenson Bennett for the Rams. Calvin Ridley for the Jags, Mike Williams for the Chargers, Anthony Richardson for the Colts, Tank Bigsby for the Jags, Hendon Hooker for the Lions, and A-Chain for the Dolphins. Daniel Jones for the Giants, Joe Burrow for the Bengals, for the Giants, Jalen Hyatt to 99. DTR for the Browns, Zay Flowers for the Ravens, and Jaron Hall for the Vikings. Treylon Burks for the Titans, Damian Pierce for the Texans, Josh Downs for the Colts, Trey Tucker for the Raiders, Devin A-Chain for the Dolphins, and Jay Kaner for the Saints. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs, Brian Burns for the Panthers, DeAndre Swift for the Eagles, Kendre Miller for the Saints, Roshan Johnson for the Bears, and Will Anderson for the Texans. Myles Garrett for the Browns, Jamar Chase for the Bengals, Tank Bigsby to 49 for the Jags, Kincaid for the Bills, Tank Bigsby for the Jags, and Hendon Hooker for the Lions. Sauce Gardner for the Jets, George Pickens for the Steelers, Amari Cooper for the Browns, Darius Davis for the Chargers, Will Anderson for the Texans, and Stenson Bennett for the Rams. Jerry Jeudy for the Broncos, Derek Carr for the Saints, Anthony Richardson for the Colts, Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders, Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers, and A-Chain for the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson for the Ravens, John Mechie for the Texans, for the Titans, Tajay Spears to 299, Sam Laporta for the Lions, Stetson Bennett for the Rams, and Luke Schoonmaker for the Cowboys. Last 6 packs of the break. Debo for the Niners, Mark Andrews for the Ravens, Nick Chubb for the Browns, CJ Stroud for the Texans, Sean Clifford for the Packers, and Zay Flowers for the Ravens. Desmond Ridder for the Falcons, Justin Herbert for the Chargers, for the Lions, Sam Laporta to 299, Jaden Reed for the Packers, Booty for the Patriots, and Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. Geno Smith for the Seahawks, A.J. Dillon for the Packers, Travis Kelce for the Chiefs, Jordan Addison for the Vikings, Israel for the Jets, and Jordan Addison for the Vikings. Tyrann Mathieu for the Saints, DeAndre Hopkins for the Cardinals, Aaron Rodgers for the Jets, Michael Mayer for the Raiders, Tanner McKee for the Eagles, and Clayton Tune for the Cardinals. Shaq Leonard for the Colts, Michael Thomas for the Saints, JSN for the Seahawks, Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions, Bijan Robinson for the Falcons, and Josh Downs for the Colts. Last pack. Good luck. Deshaun Watson for the Browns, Josh Allen for the Bills, for the Texans, Will Anderson to 299, Jalen Carter for the Eagles, Cedric Tillman for the Browns, and Tank Dell for the Texans. 1 second, we'll go over all the hits. We had Jaden Reed auto at a 299 for the Packers. Cedric Tillman out of 75 for the Browns. Josh Allen out of 500 for the Bills. Kenneth Walker auto out of 99 for the Seahawks. Tank Dell out of 100 for the Texans. Michael Mayer out of 50 on the Optic Preview for the Raiders. Dontavion Wicks out of 100 for the Packers. Will Anderson out of 299 for the Texans. Rashad Bateman out of 190 for the Ravens. Jaron Hall out of 149 for the Vikings. Stenson Bennett out of 75 for the Rams. Stenson Bennett out of 299 for the Rams. Zach Charbonnet out of 75 for the Seahawks. Sam Laporta out of 299 for the Lions. Bryce Young out of 299 for the Panthers. Tony Pollard out of 52 for the Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers out of 399, Jersey Kings for the Jets. Jalen Hyatt out of 100 for the Giants. Quez Watkins out of 16 for the Eagles. Jonathan Mingo out of 49 for the Panthers. DTR out of 149 for the Browns. Booty out of 299 for the Pats. Tank Dell out of 299 for the Texans. Quentin Johnston out of 49 for the Chargers. Clayton Tune out of 75 for the Cardinals. Sean Clifford out of 99 for the Packers. Stenson Bennett out of 99 for the Rams. Zay Flowers out of 49 for the Ravens. Tanner McKee out of 75 for the Eagles. Devin Shane out of 299 for the Dolphins. Tyler Scott out of 299 for the Bears. Luke Musgrave out of 299 for the Packers. A-Chain out of 99 for the Dolphins. A-Chain auto. Elite Series rookie auto for the Dolphins. Hassan Reddick out of 75 for the Eagles. Zaire Franklin out of 50 for the Colts. Justin Tucker out of 399 for the Ravens. Adam Thielen out of 70 for the Panthers. Jaden Reed out of 299 for the Packers. DTR out of 149 for the Browns. Cedric Tillman out of 99 for the Browns. Tanner McKee out of 149 for the Eagles. Tank Bigsby out of 149 for the Jags. Anthony Richardson out of 149 for the Colts. Jonathan Mingo out of 299 for the Panthers. Zay Flowers out of 149 for the Ravens. Jaron Hall out of 149 for the Vikings. Stetson Bennett out of 299 for the Rams. We have 3 case hits. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. Joe Burrow for the Bengals. CJ Stroud for the Texans. And a 101 Kendre Miller for the Saints. Thank you guys for hopping in the break this week. Much appreciated. There is some divisionals this Friday. I know for sure hockey. I believe baseball as well. Those will be at 8:30.
There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. We might just open the doors if you want to come down and make a purchase. We'll be here.
Those will be at 8:30 on Friday. Thank you to Brendan and Brian. This is a lot of cards in this break tonight. They got them all sleeved up and ready to go. If we don't see you guys before the holidays, have a great holiday. Thank you and have a good night.